Well, thank you so much, TJ, for taking time to talk to Pure Country. First and foremost, congratulations on the release of Skeletons.
Thank you. It feels good to get new music out there.
It's such a great album, too. And I saw that Esquire named it one of the most anticipated albums of 2020. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but a lot of things in 2020 have been very disappointing. But this album, definitely not. I was able to listen to it front to back, and it's fantastic.
Oh, well, thanks for saying that. I think, we wish we could be out performing it live, but at least it is nice to have some new music out there for the fans to listen to until we can get out there and see people in person.
And now that it is released, I read that there was some times where you weren't even sure if this album was going to come to life. Quite a few obstacles thrown in your way from start to finish, but what was that kind of motivating thing that just made you guys push through and go ahead with everything?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think God, life is so many, I think, we had just to do a little quick run through. I mean, my brother got tinnitus, which is like really bad ringing in your ears. And it was so bad that we couldn't record. So we delayed some stuff. We thought we might not ever tour again. His ears were so bad. And he finally got that under control. And then we had a tornado hit Nashville that almost leveled the studio we were in, and it put it out of power for weeks. Then I got salmonella poisoning once we got back into the studio, and then right at the tail end we went into quarantine. So it was a challenging process, but I think kind of life can be that way sometimes. And I think it was just more kind of a test of will, and honestly, in music, I mean, if you don't have the resilience to kind of just dust yourself off and get back up and keep marching forward, it's probably not the business for you, because that happens regularly. Even when you are having a lot of success or even are at the top, it's just, hits keep coming. And I think perseverance will obviously always serve you well. But it's nice that we finally did get it out. And we thought it was pretty fitting that through all of the challenges, it delayed the record a little bit. And the record Skeletons would come out the month of Halloween, which we thought was pretty fitting.
I was actually going to say that if that was timed that way on purpose, because even listening to the album, there's definitely some spooky undertones to some of the sounds, and then to have it come out in October, I mean, you really couldn't plan it any more perfect for an album of that title.
I know that just kind of worked out that way, I mean, and life is kind of funny how that happens. But we wanted the record to come out earlier, and then there was talks of potentially waiting until next year so we can go out promote the record. But then we thought, our fans they really want to hear new music. I think you can try to we get so caught up in trying to have the #1 album of the week, which I think we might have had, I don't even know. But I think your fans don't care about that stuff. They just want new music out there. And we thought more than anything, people are consuming entertainment and content more than ever now. And so we thought it was pretty fitting to go ahead and just put the album out there for the people that have been waiting so long for it.
Well, it also works out well too, because All Night is in the top 20 this week here in Canada.
Oh, nice.
So
That's good.
It's a big Brothers Osborne week for us.
Oh, wow, that's huge. Yeah, John and I try not to pay too much attention to that, because it gets, when you look at the charts, it can be so all over the place. And also too, if you get past, we're friends with nearly everyone that's on the chart with us. So if one of your friends passes your song, you're like, son of a bitch.
But go, yes.
I know, it's like, Marin, are you kidding me? But we try not to pay too much mind to it, but it's hard not to right now, because typically we'd be out touring and we could see, man, the fans are responding to it, so we would know that it was working really well. And obviously we don't have that right now. So I'll take everything we can get at this point. That's great information. Thanks for relaying that.
And the album, it's a really cool album, obviously, but listening to it definitely sounds like a Brothers Osborne album, but it also sounds unlike anything that's out there right now. And I know for a lot of people who are diehard country fans, they're always kind of worried about the direction that country music's going. Will there still be that core country for those listeners? And I was listening to Back on the Bottle, and there could not be a more outlaw country song in 2020 than that track. What was the inspiration for going? I mean, that's totally like Waylon Jennings sounding music.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And we've on all of our records, we've always tried to have a tip of the hat to old classic country, because I mean, let's face it, there's some people that are in our genre right now that probably weren't really that big on country music. They just kind
Mhm.
of fell into it. And John and I, we loved it. We were raised on it. So and so we always just want to be like, hey, I know we do kind of a more modern version of country, but just for you, the more traditional country fans out there, we always want to be like, hey, we hear you. We're fighting the fight. Like we want to carry country music forward to the future, but we also want to be one of the chains and the link to the past. And so we love songs like that. And that song we wrote with a really great artist, singer-songwriter named Hayes Carl. And we had a blast writing it. But it's funny because it just sounds like a traditional old Waylon Jennings song, but it changes time signatures, it changes tempos, it
Yeah, it's
changes.
very cool.
It's a really complex song, but it doesn't really sound like it at first listen, which I kind of love.
And all this tracks on Skeleton, all 12 of them, you and John co-wrote. I would assume a big chunk of that was done pre-pandemic, but now that everything has kind of changed and the pace of your life has probably changed, are you finding this time easier to write more new music, or are you having a more challenging time with all the downtime?
Yes and no. Usually for an artist, typically you spend a lot of time getting ready to make a record, and then by the time you're done with that album to put out, this being our new record, Skeletons, you kind of line it up to where you're going to release the record and then go and tour. So we were ready to go out to. I mean, we were a few days from going to Australia and then going to the UK and then Europe, and then we were going to do some. We're hoping to turn right back around and then come to North America, and and then finally that didn't happen. So we had you call it broadcasting and receiving, really. And so you receive when you want to make a record and you want to write, and then we get all the material and then we want to broadcast it.
Right.
It's hard for me to flip back and forth between those. Some people are better at it and really good at it. And so it's been hard for me to flip back into receiving mode and creating mode because I just spent years creating an album that we just released.
Right.
But at the same time, we have been writing, and you can never write enough for a project. And we're already starting to write songs for our next album, even because it takes years. I mean, there's songs that are on this album, Skeletons, that we wrote even almost went on our last record. Dead Man's Curve was a song that was almost on Port St. Joe, our last record. And so, and just you want to build it up. So there's some songs now that we have already that we really love that I'm looking forward to recording on your next album. But I need to focus on this one. And I'm really happy to have it out there. And at this point, I just really want to perform it live.
Yeah, so we definitely can't wait until you're able to perform it live. We would love to see you up here in Canada.
Yeah.
Congratulations again on the album. I hope the next album doesn't throw you quite as many curveballs, but I think this one will be.
We'll get back up and keep going.
Yeah, I think this album's going to be a really good one for you. So thank you so much for taking time to talk to Pure Country.
I appreciate it. Stay healthy out there. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You too.